What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Blair, the Flair, Cobbs. Get this, Blair the Flair Cobbs believes that he'll run through Terence Crawford. At the age of 35, Terence Crawford has done it all. World titles in multiple weight classes, check. An undefeated and dominant record, check. A top 3 spot on virtually every pound-for-pound list, also check. An introduction in the Hall of Fame. Although that decision hasn't quite been made, it's likely that he'll eventually check that off the list as well. Yet, despite his long list of accolades and overwhelming achievements, Blair Cobbs has shrugged his shoulders, seemingly unimpressed. He's watched Crawford carefully over the years. The 147-pound contender is anxious to share the ring with the switch hitter star. And he said this, he says, "It looks like an ass whooping that you ain't never seen before," said Cobbs. He said, "You couldn't bet on it because most people would end up losing their money betting against me." And he says, "I'm more than prepared for a fight with Terence Crawford. I will run right through him." Those are the words of Blair the Flair Cobbs. Woo! Listen, love the energy of Blair the Flair. It kind of reminds me of an upbeat Terence Crawford on cocaine. That's Blair the Flair to me. You know what I mean? Just souped up, supercharged, and I've seen him. I think his name was Rashon, right? That he got beat by. And I've seen his weaknesses. He is a guy that he's tenacious, he's tough. Even when they stopped that fight, he was still trying to get in there and throw punches, even though, he was hurt, And him wanting to fight Terence Crawford, it's crazy because those are the type of fights that Terence Crawford ends up fighting. Those type of guys that are in though like that kind of limbo, those outskirt guys that that are not really involved with too many different people. But Blair Cobbs is calling out everybody. He's 32 years of age. He's from Philly. He has a lot of stories to tell. He's very exciting. He does have 10 KOs. He has that one loss again to Rocha. Alex Rocha or Alexis Rocha, right? And him fighting, but he beat Maurice Hooker though. Okay, he took him out. So he redeemed himself in a way. He came back with that flair from Blair, that we are familiar with. And now he wants to take on and continue calling out the next big fighters, which Terence Crawford is one of the biggest fighters in the welterweight division and on top of the WBO welterweight champion. And my counterpunch on that, regardless of what Blair the Flair throws, he may have the type of style that gives Terence Crawford problems for about 3 rounds. 3 rounds. Okay? And I look at Blair the Flair because he's unorthodox and he's a fighter. And those type of guys, those type of guys that are fighters have a better chance against Terence Crawford, because they're not a traditional fighter. Because what Terence does, he's a switch hitter. So he sees both sides from 2 different angles. He sees a fighting stance from an orthodox, and he sees it again when he switches from a southpaw. And then between those two, he's able to style bend and use certain angles that you're not familiar with. A guy that rushes in like Blair Cobbs will be knocked out. I don't mean that shit with Rocha. I mean knocked out like Terence Crawford did Avanesian, And it won't be any controversy about gloves or anything like that. No, he'll just be knocked out cold. Because I see him coming in. I see Blair the Flair attacking, and I see him aggressive. I see him with tenacity, and I see all that for the reason for him being knocked out cold by a right hook, a right uppercut, a left hook, or a left uppercut. One of those coming in, guaranteed. KO. But it won't stop Blair the Flair. Woo! But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Blair Cobbs claiming, stating, believing that he will walk right through Terence the Bud Crawford. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!